What's going on, guys? This is part 3 of my coverage of the 40th anniversary semester at the One Shepherd Leadership Institute. So if you haven't seen the previous parts yet, I highly encourage you to go check those out. In this video, I'll be covering the final culminating event of this semester, which is an over 48-hour continuous field training exercise called the FTX. Nothing was spared for this FTX, celebrating 40 years of the One Shepherd Leadership Institute's existence. This FTX would be the first time in One Shepherd history that warriors taking part in the exercise would be helicopter inserted by a Vietnam-era UH-1 Huey flown by the U.S. Army Aviation Heritage Foundation. You can imagine the excitement on everyone having seen this beautiful warhorse fly in. This semester's FTX would also be the largest in One Shepherd history, featuring a total of 97 warriors and 19 staff members. Like all One Shepherd FTXs, there would be two opposing sides, the OPFOR and BLUEFOR. Both sides would consist of members from 4 major organizations. For the OPFOR, it would consist of One Shepherd fielding 41 warriors, with a light fighter studies group acting as a reconnaissance element with 11 warriors. The BLUEFOR side would consist of members of the Missouri Militia fielding 35 warriors and supported by 10 warriors from the SNS Training Solutions acting as a reconnaissance element. BLUEFOR also had a very small contingent called the Old Guy Squad that aided them in mostly support duties. The uniforms worn during this exercise would be solid olive drab for the OPFOR, and for the BLUEFOR, woodland would be worn by the Missouri Militia and multicam for SNS Training Solutions. The leadership of the OPFOR consisted of myself as the patrol leader, my good buddy Les from Pegasus Test on YouTube as my assistant patrol leader, and Joe D'Amico as our platoon radio operator. Tyler, a U.S. Army veteran, was the patrol leader for the Light Fighter Studies Group. On the BLUEFOR side, you had Captain Felix as the patrol leader for the Missouri Militia, as well as Cole Salmons, a U.S. Army veteran, as the patrol leader for SNS Training Solutions as their reconnaissance element. The first morning of the FTX always begins bright and early, with all sides back at the FOB, and the exercise not officially having kicked off yet. OPFOR started the morning with a little PT to get the blood flowing.
OPFOR, out 10, follow me! Good morning, OPFOR! Good morning,
PT first thing in the morning before the start of the FTX is a good way to get your guys' head in the game, as well as build unit cohesion, and depending on how motivated your guys are, it may intimidate the other side who's still inside the FOB with you.
7, 8, 9, 10, ease out. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. Next exercise will be squats. I will demonstrate. Hold the weapon out in front of you. 1, 2, 3, 1. We understand? Come on. We will do 10 of them. Start positions. Move. Ready. Exercise. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 5. Last exercise of the day will be side shoulder hops. Side shoulder hops. Sergeant positions. Move. We will do 10 of them. Ready. Exercise. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 5. 1, 2, 3. 6. 1, 2, 3. 7. 1, 2, 3. 8. 1, 2, 3. 9. 1, 2, 3. 10. Recover. And run. OPFOR, out 10. Follow me. Dismissed.
Following PT, the warriors grabbed a quick bite to eat, and then began staging their gear for pre-combat checks and inspections.
Here's the socks, but ideally more. If they want other, like I brought some undershirts, they don't need that. 4 things of water, their miles is paired, or 4 things of MREs, all their water sources are filled, and all their miles are paired up, okay?
This was a scenario for the OPFOR for the FTX. For simplicity's sake, I'm not going to go into great detail on the background of this scenario. Let's just say it was modeled after the conflict taking place in the Ukraine. The countries' names are all changed, of course, but there's no mistaking what the scenario was based on, with the Blue Four essentially being the Ukrainian forces, while the OPFOR was the separatists backed by the Russians. This is the map of the area of operation for the FTX. In the north was the OPFOR territory controlled by us. In the south was the Blue Four controlled territory, with the middle being obviously no man's land. The mission we were given was to act as a quick reaction force to plug a gap that had been found by some farmers in our side's minefield on the southern edge of our AO. All other units were tied up, and our platoon, who was supposed to be doing a little R&R in the rear, was needed to be rushed to the front via helicopter in order to plug the gap before the enemy could exploit it. Despite the north being our own territory, we were also going in knowing that there was a very real possibility of enemy having already infiltrated through the gap. With that said, the plan was to be inserted via helicopter into a landing zone just northeast of the gap. Upon insertion, after all the platoon was on the ground, we'd move into the gap and establish an area defense across the opening to hold it until given further follow-on orders. A vehicle convoy would also link up with us later on once we were on the ground and at the gap, and bring all of our sustainment gear as well as bigger shovels, engineer stakes, sea wire, and field phones. Once the guys were briefed, we began staging in helicopter sticks as well as loading up the trucks with all our follow-on and sustainment gear. The men of the Light Fighter Studies Group, who were our reconnaissance element, would be on the first stick, along with myself, my RTO, and one additional guy from my platoon for security. Once on the ground, the Light Fighters would secure the LZ, as well as provide security for the assembly area for the rest of the platoon coming in on subsequent sticks.
He's gonna go in front of you. You'll be behind the last light fighter guy. Then you're behind him, and I'm behind you. out left. Here, man, take a flash. Let's go, D'Amico. All right, you got this trail? Got it. Punch out to the right side.
Despite receiving some pop shots upon landing, all of our first stick made it on the ground safely and began setting in security to receive the rest of the platoon.
Right here on my left. Over here.
After only getting 2 squads from the platoon on the ground, we received word from higher that the bird needed to make a refueling run before it could transport any more of our guys. Not knowing just how long this was going to take, we decided to push with what we had to the gap. Light Fighter Studies Group would stay at the assembly area to receive the rest of the platoon and bring them to the gap once the rest of them had arrived.
Area to cover. Okay, so the mechanics start getting bored. The weekend next to me at the defense was that at the very least when we get down there we'll do a 360 and I'm gonna do a leadership recon to check out the area. Just get some bodies up before we start putting people down. I don't want any digging or anything like that. We're literally just gonna be doing a leadership recon and then once we got an idea of what we're gonna do, we'll start setting guys individually. I don't want to start digging or doing any of that type of work until we get more forces over there. I don't want to draw in fucking SMS because they hear fucking dudes cranking. Alright. Any questions on that? Okay. Due south is straight this way. So we're going southwest heading this direction, approximately 200 meters. Alright, so right now, you'll put your guys in the front. Okay, so it'll be first squad, followed by what you got from second. Okay, and then once you get there, 200 meters, circle up, 360, you'll get accountability, and then we'll push from there. I'll give you guys a minute to pull your guys and fucking brief them. Make sure they know the challenging passwords, as well as the runnings and the fucking number combos. Okay? Hail less on the radio.
From the assembly area, we moved to an objective rally point at the gap. Once there, Leaders Recon was conducted in order to see firsthand just how to best employ our forces in an area defense to cover the gap. Upon returning from our leader's recon, we began to set the 2 squads into the defense. This would also consist of our CP being centrally located for easy command and control. One squad would make up the center through the western flank, and another would cover the middle through the eastern flank. The 3rd squad, once they would arrive, would act as a reserve to be used in the event of an enemy attack. But first, however, they would begin the priorities of work in placing wire obstacles and early warning devices. While this is going on, Light Fighter Studies groups will be providing screening patrols ahead of our lines until the defense could be established, at which point our reserve squad would take over those duties so that Light Fighter Studies group could begin conducting reconnaissance in the Blue 4's AO.
Just to reiterate, okay, because some of you might not have gotten all the passwords. Right? The standard password is riot and control. You use it in a sentence. You just don't say fucking riot, right? You say, hey, did you see the riots going on in D.C.? Or did you see in Washington there's riots? Okay, something along those lines. And then you reply, yeah, they're trying to get control of it. All right? See how that works? Number combo is numbers adding to 5. All right? So if I say 3 to 2, right? Everybody understand how that works? Okay. Emergency situation. We have an LPOP. I'm giving you an example. Let's say we have an LPOP set up about 100 yards, 100 meters out. All right? It's starting to get overran. You have to fucking beat feet, get out of there, get back to our lines. You're running in, the enemy's chasing you. The running password is OPFOR, because there's no time to do a fucking sentence, right? So it's like the second you use that running password, it's done. We have to change it for everybody. So only use it in an emergency. Preferably, I don't want you guys to have to use challenge passwords because it compromises your position and gives you away. All right? So if you just hear some fucking rustling in the bushes and you're 50 to 100 meters out, wait for the motherfucker to come out of the fucking bushes and get positive ID before you start yelling shit. Because if he's an enemy, guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna turn around and run the fuck back. Alright? If you wait and he comes out of the bushes and all of a sudden you see OD green, then what? It's a good guy. Alright? Comes out of the bushes, fucking multi-cam, you blast his ass. Woodland, you blast his ass. Alright? So, passwords, challenge passwords are fucking essentially last resort. Alright? But be sure before you drop the hammer. Okay, right now you guys are about to lose your... Oh, never mind. Right now you guys are the reserve, okay? Once we get established, we'll have like a rest rotation where there's a squad, tasked with doing screening patrols and stuff like that. That's typically going to be you guys right now. However, we've got a lot of priorities of work. These guys are building the positions. They're clearing fields of fire. They're prepping that stuff. You guys are in reserve right now, okay? So if we get hit right now, you're going to mobilize your squad to reinforce wherever we need them, okay? We're going to move to a new COC location. That's where going to be the headquarters. It's somewhat in the middle. There's somewhat of a gap in our fucking lines, but it's parallel. So it's like, here's the border, here's the limit of advance, all right? You got a fence running, minefield over here. On this side, you have a fence, minefield over here. So our guys are kind of like this, okay? They have fires forward, but there's an open area in between them, all right? So if the enemy gets through undetected by these guys, they could technically go in right here, right? Our COC is like right here. So that's where our reserve is. So if that happens, guess what you guys are doing? You're getting online, you're fucking assaulting through that, all right? So what I need you guys to do is go grab your packs and grab some of the fencing and whatever additionally you can carry. And I'm going to take you to the new COC area. All right, we're going to start staging all the fencing over there. And once we have all of our packs and fencing and posts and all that shit over there, then we're going to start tasking you guys with this gentleman to start laying in our notional concertina wire, or simulated concertina wire, I should say. Okay? some of you might be tasked with working on pews while the wire's being put up. Remember, if we're forward of the line, you got to provide your own security, okay? So if a dude's working, another dude's holding security, okay? All right, let's go get our packs. Don't forget, you have some hope, okay?
We just got done coming back from the west and went all the way to the fence and came back. It's empty right now.
No contact.
But there's a whole lot of forest over there if you've never walked it.
Right.
Yeah. There's only a lot of guys that are really south of the plant.
So we got our guys in place. So right now we're moving packs to the right positions and then we're gonna start digging in. So if you guys can keep the screening going for us, we appreciate that.
The next thing I'm going to recommend to Jackson is that we push down the western flank through those trees.
Okay.
We send 2 to 6 people. Depends on our rest cycle. We got a bunch of guys that are overheating from all the running. But
Okay.
that's nicer now.
We're running pretty much now.
Yeah. Anywho, what we noticed is on that inside corner where the field goes like this and then again this way,
Yeah.
you could put an OP there that no one would ever see walking the fence line. The way the train's set up, you'd hear them long before anyone could see them. And whether you want to kill them there or not, you'd at least know when they walk up and run across. And I'm talking about where your dudes are on the end here, the white pipe to the tree, don't ask why. But it's all fenced in there. So at least you're crawling through a barbed wire fence for a ways. But it's broken at the very corner. Other than that, yeah.
Ready?
You guys know.
Take what you can.
One of the places I want fire is in the middle of this shit. We'll have to figure out where the best put it. I'll have to show you, once we get our shit over there, I'll show you where the furthest second platoon position is. And then, obviously you see the first squad position is right here at the entrance where we stepped over. So, I'd like to put some strand going all the way across.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I see what you want done. Okay.
So
Yes, sir.
what we'll do is we'll put a strand from the tree line out into the field, and then we'll put a pew in front of it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. And halt. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I gotta.
The center hole to water drain. I need 3 sides. This side. So at least this. I need overhead.
I've got a Marine Corps ground sheet we can use as overhead.
Okay, I've got one too.
Good. Well, you will use yours as ground insulation when we use mine's overhead cover. Plus, I've got a poncho, and I got some Barrow Stolica cami cloaks.
Yeah, we'll start breaking up camming and shit once we get the base done.
Okay.
Rick's working on that. Let's keep this up.
Okay. No problem. Hey, Joe, if you need my overheads, it's in one of the 2 side pockets here on the rock, okay? I've got a Marine Corps ground sheet, and I got a camouflage poncho. We probably want to bring that water down here too, boss man. I know it's a fucking shit home.
How many cans?
8, so take a lot of guys.
Whole squad. Can I ditch my 77 to get my ruck? Sorry? Can I ditch the 77 to get my ruck?
All right, I'll take radio watch while he does that. Or do you even worry about it? Hire's not fucking answering anyways.
Have you been able to... Have you been able to get a radio chat of Hire yet? No. Have you tried since then? Text me. No, I've tried.
We had just finished moving all of our packs, Pioneer gear, and water jugs down from where the convoy had dropped them off when the enemy launched a full-on attack at our center and western side. At this point, all squads were into their designated positions, but they had not yet begun to dig in. Third squad, our reserve squad, was immediately committed to the fight.
Right in front of us! Right in front! Contact! 50 meters, dead ahead!
Got me. Watch your head.
Give away your CCP, so I'll move up, huh?
Okay. Can you,
I gotta get the
Clear me?
gun there behind me.
No.
Getter's on the other side.
CCP on me! CCP on me! CCP on me! CCP on me!
Shortly after I was killed, the Light Fighter Studies Group moved in from our rear and began to sweep the Blue 4 from the west, mopping up the rest of the enemy attack. It became very clear to us that this was a full-on effort. We ended up taking around 20 casualties in this fight, but it was important to note that despite not being dug in yet and not having obstacles in place, our defensive plan worked and held the line. Because the attack had taken place just minutes after our respawn time had passed, our dead had to wait about an hour and a half before they coming back in. Light Fighter Studies Group, along with the remnants of 1st and 3rd Squad, held the western side, and 2nd Squad, who was virtually untouched in this battle, held the east side until our forces could be respawned and reman the lines.
All right, it's 1800. We lost about half of our guys. They actually launched a full-blown assault on us, at least I think. We just got respawned. This is the commander of the Light Fighters Support Group?
Studies group, yeah.
Studies Group. But they were in the fight the whole time. I think they only lost one guy.
Yeah.
So he's about to give me a brief on what transpired while we were dead. But our lines held. We repelled their assault. And on you, man. What we got?
So when they initiated the attack, they definitely crossed the creek right down here.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about why we're very confident when we found their infiltration route. But we heard that, we got our gear ready, and by the time by the time the attack had started to culminate, we had worked the edge of the line here. Yeah. I had sent a fire team down this end and followed the creek bed.
Okay.
I wanted to see if I can get around them. On the left side, and then we were working the right side because this is where their main attack was coming from. We didn't hear any other contact anywhere else, so there was no feint. It was all they massed right here, right past north of the creek. They were attritted by the time we got there. That machine gun position that you put in place on the edge, they're still alive. They had chewed up the majority of those guys.
Yeah.
When we reinforced, there was one guy left up here. There was two. The machine gun came in, killed one, and then we policed up the last guy.
Okay.
I took one casualty, so my 10-man section at that point pushed down. We consolidated on the creek bed while your other squad stayed in position, and so we held that for about an hour. At that point, we heard some guys talking, and so we formed up a small 3-man patrol. They crossed the creek, got up, and that's when they found their CCP. We confirmed 27 killed.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Right. We took out 27 of them.
Several of them were their reconnaissance section. So the other thing that we were concerned about this morning is when you guys were doing your leader's reconnaissance for the battle positions, the assembly area bumped a enemy reconnaissance team.
Really?
Now we dumped rounds and they unasked, but we were scared pretty much all morning that they had done a stay behind somewhere in here.
Yeah.
So I'm confident that they're not splitting up and doing multiple patrols. I'm confident they are consolidated like we are as a reconnaissance section. So I believe they are all south of us. I don't think anyone's in our rear area. So that's good. And right now, my reconnaissance team is up in the south corner of Shoebox.
Perfect.
So they're going to stay there until twilight. So we've got, I would say it's 18:15 now. They're supposed to be back by a little before 2000. I gave them until 1945. Okay, so they're going to be in there.
Oh, North Front. Okay.
They're just going to keep getting as far as possible. And if they can do some harassment tonight, they can. If not, okay, we'll go from there. But as of right now, no one is in this area. So we're unless they have dumped their reconnaissance section back through here again. My guys have already swept this area and no one's gotten past them. So that should give you a little bit of breathing room to dig
This is
in.
what we're doing. Just so we're on the same page. This squad's continuing to reinforce your positions. These guys are backfilling those positions to the original spots because what's in there is the remnants and part of 3rd Platoon, which were the reserve. I've got guys setting up pews in the creek bed.
Okay.
They have their own internal security, so you don't have to worry about protecting them or anything. I've got guys running wire in here. Same thing. They have their own internal security.
Okay.
And I'm currently running field phone lines to plus these up.
Okay, yeah.
I'm bumping my CP back here because, again, from our CP, I saw fucking multicam cameras. So I'm concerned that, one, the CP was compromised, and two, when the RD does fall, it's going to take out the whole entire command element. So I want to put them here, and we'll get some overhead cover going down here.
Defilade down here,
Yeah. And then what I need to get with you with is, oh, I thought you were ripping one. What are we gonna do for tonight? Because I'm absolutely all about kicking out maybe a fire team plus, or even a squad for that matter, and setting up some ambushes.
So what I would suggest, if you're sticking in here basically, and you're doing patrols, then I can kick my reconnaissance up here.
Yes.
And I can go start putting pressure on them. And if we hear them coming off that mountain, we can start harassing them.
Okay. My guy with the 77 is putting up his long pole, so we can talk to you.
Okay.
I am concerned that the SOI might have been compromised, so I want to swap to B.
Okay. Okay.
Let's say 1930. Swapping SOI.
My patrol that's still out there only has his one SOI.
Is there a brevity code or anything to swap?
There is, yeah, but he only has his. The rest of them are controlled back at our
All right.
seat.
Well, then
So
I'll hold off on that until
when he gets
I get
back
word
in
from you.
Okay, and then we can switch.
Swap. But we should probably keep that to a minimum, which is the assumption that that was compromised.
Once you guys get good with setting up all your pews and all that stuff, at some point I'll need to link back up with you just to get an obstacle plan, so when my guys come back back and forth, we're not running into your shed.
I want to set up one approach and one exit out of this place.
Okay, yeah.
So that we can funnel through.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
All right, that's all I got. You can cut it.
Following the brief, we immediately turned back to the priorities of work: clearing fields of fire, building fortifications, laying in wire, and setting up early warning devices, as well as running field phone lines. We also had transitioned into Light Fighter Studies Group conducting reconnaissance in the Blue 4's AO, while 3rd Squad began punching out screens in front of our lines. A very small skirmish took place on our far eastern flank between an enemy reconnaissance element and one of our positions. This was believed to be an SNS recon patrol, but the confusing thing was that they had passed through from behind, leading us to continuously think that the enemy could have reconnaissance elements to our rear. Later that night, I would link up with the Light Fighter Studies Group, who provided me with intelligence that they had found a possible location on the enemy encampment. I had also been given orders from higher that I needed to conduct an attack on the enemy no later than 05 the next morning.
The last however many hours we've been in the field, our recon studies group has been conducting reconnaissance in addition to screening operations in this area, as well as in this place, which is called the shoebox. Right? This is the suspected enemy AO. It spans several hundred meters. Okay? Each one of these box represents 100 meters. Over the course of the last several hours, my fighters have determined that they believe the enemy has a patrol base, not a defense like ours, but a patrol base in the middle of the shoebox. Okay? So if you're looking at this map, you're looking at these terrain features. These kind of look like eyes, right? And this comes up, kind of looks like a mouth, right? So they think this suspected patrol base is right down in the area of the shoebox. If you're looking at it like the shape of a face in the shoebox, all right? For those of you who have maps. All right, does everybody understand? Okay. Now, this is very arduous terrain. It's very thick. So instead of taking the whole unit, all right, I made the call. Look how fucking dark it is. It's hard enough to see with PBS 14s. I made the call to be fucking Leonidas and take the 300 Spartans rather than take everybody. So we're leaving the Athenians here to hold down the rear, okay? So all the guys without nods are staying here to hold security at our defense, okay? Now here's the caveat to this. Our respawn time is on moving out, okay? So our respawn time is at 04. We're gonna try to time our attack about 15 minutes before 04. So if any of us get killed, you're going to make your way back to the OC, who's going to be with us. He'll be maybe 15, 20 meters behind our lines with a red lens flashlight yelling, CCP on me. You go to him, you take a knee, you wait, 04 on the dot, he'll revive you, you're back in the fight. Alright? Now my orders from higher were to conduct an attack no later than 05 on the enemy. My question to them was, where exactly is the enemy? And they said, conduct a movement contact. So, we don't know exactly where the enemy is. Alright, we're going off of our reconnaissance. Now, our reconnaissance thus far has been pretty good. Alright, they had eyes on the enemy CCP when we got attacked, and they determined that they took 26 casualties by counting dead personnel. Okay? So, remember how many bodies we had stacked up over here? They had more. Alright? We repelled their attack, guys. We are very much in this fight. So now we're going to take the fucking fight to them. Alright? We're leading back the guys that don't have nods to hold down the fort while we go out there and fucking infiltrate. Alright? So here's the plan. We were supposed to be guided by light fighters. I'm still waiting to get updated word on that. They were supposed to guide us into an area that they reconnoitered and found crossing into the shoebox, because it's pretty tricky. You're supposed to get guided down there. I haven't got an update on that. If he doesn't show in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm just going to make the call and we're going to push.
8-5 improved. Said 8-3 is most likely en route, but I haven't raised 8-3.
Okay, well, we'll see. Regardless, I can get us down here. Once we get down to the opening in the tree line, there's a barbed wire fence, which on the other side is a minefield. All right, it's boundary. We're going to skirt that, and it comes uphill to a place that we always call the nipple. All right, because see the terrain feature? It's like a nipple. It's on top of the fucking hill. So with that being said, gentlemen, this is not going to be an easy trek. Okay, this is going to be about 700 meters there with a fight, and then 700 meters back. So you're talking over a click. Okay, so so if any of you don't feel up to it right now, hey, I got no hard feelings. This is not going to be easy, alright? But in order to win big, you got to take big wins. Alright, so with that being said, is any of you not up to this? What's up? You're back now? Grant, what squad are you? First squad? Okay. What was our number? 14. 14? Alright, go ahead. Yes. Any others? Okay. 13's fucking Marine Corps Rock Squad. Alright? Okay, so here's the mission, fellas. Once we get some Nebula, we're gonna form a 360. I've got a compass man and a point man. My point man has NVG / thermals. Alright, one eye's fucking NVGs, the other eye's thermal. So he's gonna be looking for heat signatures. Directly behind him, I have a compass man. My compass man is gonna keep him on a due east heading. This map is upside down, by the way, because it's oriented. He's going to set him on a due east heading. We're going to head due east, all right? And hopefully, we get a good all right? Once we get a visual contact, we're going to stop short. We're going to check our time hacks. If our time hacks match up, like I said, we want to kick this off about 15 minutes prior to and we'll launch our raid. Here's our priorities. We are not, I have no expectations of us overrunning them. Gentlemen, their force is like 2-3 times our size. Alright? We're not overrunning them. Now, with that being said, if we take the initiative and we just start steamrolling, we're going to keep going. But at some point, we're going to reach culmination. Okay? Yeah, we're going to get out of there. The extraction plan is 3 whistle blasts. 3 long whistle blasts. So not just boop, boop, boop. It's boop, boop, boop. There's multiple people with whistles here. Alright? The succession of command is going to be myself, Les, and then, what else we got here? Butler, I'm putting you, because you got the fucking good eyes. Okay? We got any other squad leaders coming? Who's that? Okay, as you were. Me, Les, Hamilton, Butler. Okay? Anybody have any questions about that? So if you're calling out PL or APL and you're not hearing shit, we're fucking dead. Alright? We're fucking dead. Take charge. Alright? Limited objectives. Got 2. 1, want to kill as many as we can before we pull out. 2, I want to hit a bunker or 2, and I want to capture intelligence. Do any of you have cell phones on you? 3 of you. I need you 3 in the rear with your cell phone ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one is in the 3rd squad. I gave him my full kick, so we have 1 SSV guy already.
Okay.
And he's already in the rear.
Alright. I want you guys in the rear. What's going to happen is, if we take an enemy fighting position and there's a dead enemy sitting in it, you're going to ask him for intel. He's obligated to give you. If he hands you intel, you yell out, titties, 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 3 times, as loud as you can. That's going to let the exploitation guys know, get to that fighting position, take a picture of that fucking intel, and then hand it back to the dead enemy. You understand? Yep. You know, we're looking for maps, we're looking for SOIs, stuff like that. I want to try to take at least 1, preferably 2 fighting positions, okay? But like I said, if we reach those objectives, we're going to keep pushing. Now, we do not have time to do rehearsals. I wish we could. It's too fucking dark, we're too limited, and the longer we sit around playing with fucking red lights and everything, the more we're going to compromise this out. and we have a limited window. So we're going. We're going without fucking rehearsal. I hate to say it. It's gonna happen.
The night raid stepped off as planned. Life Fighter Studies Group would lead us to our ORP at the Nipple. At the ORP, we linked up with 2 Life Fighter Studies Group recon members who informed us that they believed that the enemy base was approximately 400 meters due east from the ORP. From there, we stepped off in a very slow and deliberate manner to be as quiet as possible. As we neared being 400 meters out from our ORP, our point man began to pick up visual signatures through his thermals. We then began to close on the enemy. So far, the only thing that wasn't going as planned was the 0400 time hack to initiate the attack to coordinate with our respawn time. The raid kicked off just before the 0500 no later than time. The enemy encampment was located and set up on top of a hill in a small clearing in the woods. Upon coming out of the tree line, I immediately killed an enemy manning a fighting position off to my left. A hellacious firefight then began to ensue as we worked to try to gain intelligence off their dead.
Hey. Titties, this first bunker. This first bunker right here.
Titties. Titties. Titties.
First bunker on the left. Get up here and give me another gun. In the tree line, in the tree line. Where's my titties? Where's my titties? Give me the titties.
Titties, let's go.
Hey, who's this over here? You ready? Marking for you. Marking for you. Check it out. Check it out. You see it?
Good.
Over here, I hear talking. I got 2 dead. Get down, get down, get down. Engage them. Where's my titties? Are you hit? Where's titties? Where's titties? Who's titties?
Titties! We have any titties left? Over here, on the sound of my voice. Sound of my voice.
Right there, right there.
That bunker, sir.
Get it, right here. White light, shoot it! Where's the titties? Where you at?
Titties!
Are you titties? Shoot that white light! Who's titties?
Titties!
Get the fuck up here! Get in the fucking fight! Let's go! Over here! Titties over here! Right here, first bunker, first bunker! Stay behind the bunker! I'm hit. I'm dead.
Who's this? Stay in the tree line. I'm down. Hey, who's got the camera? I got a camera. Get the picture. Come on.
The raid ended up being very successful. Despite losing about half of our raid force KIA, the objectives were met. There were numerous enemy KIA and intelligence was seized off dead enemy, providing us with pictures of their SOI, which if you don't know is a paper that contains their code words, passwords, radio freaks, etc. One fire team was also separated from the raid party, but ultimately found its way back to friendly lines without being killed by the enemy. After being awake for more than 24 hours at this point, I needed a hot cup of joe, which does the same thing to my body as CLP does to a weapon.
Here we have the Brent in its natural habitat. Last night, after feeding on the souls of his enemy in a successful raid, he comes back and brews up their ground intestine into his elixir of life and restores his power.
Following the raid, we immediately turned to security operations. There was no telling when the enemy would attempt to hit our lines again. With Light Fighter Studies Group continuing to gain more intelligence on the enemy's locations, I began to send out both screening patrols as well as two-man sniper teams to have eyes and ears out in front of our lines.
Alright, so if you see enemy, I want you to try to radio us to give us a heads up before you engage them. I will tell you every time, fucking smoke me. Alright, but I want that heads up that they're coming. Okay? Because one here, just hearing a random shot doesn't tell me shit, because I don't know if it's them, you, or whatever. You guys don't have SOIs left, do you? Nothing? Clean?
Take it.
Just get ready. If you did, just drop it in that box. Alright, I'm gonna send you guys. I want you to go on this tree line somewhere. I don't care if you push all the way down here or this close. I don't care. Somewhere along this tree line, I want you guys to operate. Alright? You can punch out, you can sit and wait for fuck's sake, I don't give a fuck. You guys get tired, let me know, we'll bring you in. Okay? What you're most likely gonna see are SNS multicam wearing recon teams. Okay? You need heads up that they're coming, where they're operating, where they're heading, directions, stuff like that. And by all means, smoke. Alright? Give them fucking sniper pop shots. I'm good with that too. Man, that's what I'm saying about that. Alright? Do we have what is our LOA again? The edge of this tree line. Okay. Alright? So this tree line ends and then it opens up into an open field. This is not really that open anymore. There's a lot of fucking vegetation in there now. But there is still an open area, like over here. I know what you mean. Yeah. So pass through second. I can't have you guys going over here. Okay. Alright, don't go into stay in the shoebox. No, that's not the shoebox. Sorry. This is the shoebox. Okay. Stay in here because what I'm ultimately end up doing is sending another sniper team over here. Okay. Okay? I don't want you guys blowing book. Okay. Alright, good. Get a radio check. Make sure you got plenty of water, then you guys can step off.
My youngest daughter asked today, can I have a bookmark? That just breaks my heart. After 13 years, she still doesn't know my name is Chris.
And yes, even during the FTX, we had to deal with smoking and joking Dr. Larson at an OC.
There's the man, the myth, the legend right there.
What's up, people?
What you got? What happened out there?
Pretty uneventful. We went out there, we saw some light fighters.
Yeah.
We met up with Squirrel 2. We saw them at their position.
Yeah.
We went through that fucking thick ass shit there.
In the middle?
Yeah. Nothing there. So then we went back that way to the tree line, past the property,
yeah,
and shot across, and came back.
Did you find an ambush position?
Not really.
No?
When I got through that thick stuff, there looked like a couple areas, but I mean, there weren't any clear lanes.
Right.
Yeah.
What about snail trails? See any snail trails?
I mean, I saw a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were all directions. I don't know if it was ours from previously or what.
Right.
In the thick part. Up there in the thick part, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just shit laying down everywhere.
Okay. In Santiago.
Yeah.
You speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What's the least spoken language in the world?
The least spoken language in the world.
Sign language.
As a joke?
Also a fact.
After getting everything moving along following the raid, Les and I decided to tour the lines to see how the boys were doing on the front. One thing that's important to note is because this is a simulation, there are rules to aid in training. There is artillery in One Shepherd. It's rarely available, but sometimes provided to you by your respective command. Artillery is extremely devastating and can cripple your defense. To help mitigate its effectiveness, tarps and caminating over a fighting position simulates overhead cover. As long as you are in your position and you have overhead cover when artillery strikes, you have a decent chance of surviving its effects in the simulation. Additionally, the green plastic fencing you are seeing represents concertina wire. It can't be ran through or jumped over. The only way to breach it is to cut all the way down it.
We have our left limit of firing line here with the high vis tape there. We have our right at 160 degrees over here. Our rest of our defenses are set up in a wedge. We are the front of that wedge, so we can only go that far where that high vis tape is. To the front, we have a V-shaped stick in the ground. It's got high visibility tape on this side and this side. And that clearly marks our netting and our concertina wire. We have obstacles built up there and there. And we've got the sump back there for our water drain off. We have caminating dripped over the top of the side so that they can't just peer into our bunker. And we reinforce the front so they can't just charge it.
Yeah.
They can't charge on us.
That's legit. Good job, fellas.
Use the phone. Just give a comms check with the CP.
Let me see that LSW. Fucking sexiness right there. Alright. Fucking furthest right position right here.
Go.
Looks like you guys got some damn good fields of fire too. Yeah.
Right where the fence comes and you put the perimeter fence.
Yeah.
We got another one of those game camera pews there as well.
Nice. Sweet.
One other contingency plan that we developed was a bump plan to plus up fighting positions on one side or the other. When an attack happens, they usually concentrate it so that the enemy can mass their forces on a defense, which is typically spread out along a vast area like ours. This allows the attacker to get past the defense and attack them from a direction that they aren't prepared to defend against, like you see here. Our bump plan would take one man from each two-man fighting position and send them over to the other side's position to reinforce whichever side was being attacked. This was a last-ditch effort, however, and it was only to be used if the sides undoubtedly being hit by the massed enemy force, and even the reserve squad reinforcements isn't thwarting the enemy's attack.
And that team leader decides you need help, he'll commit those guys. Okay? That's fine. If you hear the command, swimmer, that means the attack's developed over here. You need to send every other man from the position down to reinforce this side.
Roger that.
If you hear the command, mountain climber, every other guy from this side is coming to reinforce you.
Okay.
All right?
Swimmer, mountain climber.
Yep.
Got it.
You have to do something on swimmer. Mountain climber means help's coming to you.
Right.
All right.
As the evening began to approach, we began to anticipate the enemy would hit us just before sundown. We had heard Light Fighter Studies Group recon team get into a pretty intensive firefight over in the Blue 4's AO, so we were eager for them to return to find out what exactly had happened. Additionally, we also had one of our own screening patrols get the jump on a small enemy element which was moving towards our defense, so we knew the enemy was up to something.
What did we hit last night?
This. You came this way.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you guys just stayed on the top side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hit this over here.
No. We actually came from the front of the hill.
Oh.
The front.
This way
we
up?
went straight up.
Oh, okay. So this is where you guys came from. Okay, so they have... So me and my other fire team came up here, and I split down this way, and he split this way. He's still going.
Okay.
So he'll continue to develop the situation this way and report back. We went this way, noticed the obstacle belt, so we kind of dropped down in this draw. We started coming back up. We noticed there was a fence line here, and a two-man LPOP.
Okay.
There is a gap between that LPOP and their passage point. This is the passage point right here.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's like coming down into a slight little draw, and then it dips down further. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know it's their passage point because once we did a cloverleaf here, we noticed 1400 they did a guard change. Okay, and the guys came down, bebopping, smoking joke, fucking stand up, pick their nose, came back through here. Okay, at that point, me and one other guy, we left a 2-man security element back here, and we decided, well, let's see how big of a gap between their LPOP and the passage point's at. We didn't know it was their passage point at first. We knew they were passing somewhere through there, at least to the LPOP, but I'm confident that is their entire patrol passage point, because right when we got here, the entire scout section came out.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so they were going on patrol, and they caught us in between the LPOP.
Is that what the firefight was?
Yes.
Okay.
We killed their first 2 guys right in the passage lane.
What color uniform?
Multicam. It was S&S guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so they lottie-dottie everybody, all 12 of them were coming through that funnel, and we lit them up and unassed back to here. I took 1 casualty here, and then we all unassed back towards the creek. They did a pursuit all the way down that terrain feature to the creek.
Wow.
So they were in force, like they're wanting to eat something.
Yeah.
And so they were ready to fight. So they were definitely coming out to do some type of patrol.
Show me where they're, if you don't mind, show me where their minefield.
Here, and then we saw some more, but I can't confirm how far it goes because I didn't get eyes on.
Gotcha.
My other team will.
So
But
it's
it's right here. There's a big minefield right here, and then there's obstacle belt, and then obstacle belt.
Can you point it out on the map for me?
Yeah.
It's a good sketch. I want to see, I understand, but I just want to
So
make sure.
it's probably like right in here, or I guess that's where yeah, it's probably right in here. So right at the end of this saddle, where the terrain starts coming up.
Yeah.
That's their flank. Their passage points down here.
Well, that's one good thing. I mean, this is game playing, but we never allow people to put mines to the front.
I see.
And
Now,
so-
I couldn't confirm fighting positions on this side, but at their passage point, they definitely have a fighting position because I saw them do the link up.
Yeah.
And then another smoke and joke session, and then they fucking walked out. So,
Okay.
and then like I said, we shot them. They shot back. We took 1 dead, 2 wounded, patched up our wounded, and got across the creek. They pursued us all the way down to that creek. So right here along this edge. And then when we got out in the scrub, we dog-legged, and we could tell they stopped. They were like, yeah, we're not going to go chasing in there.
Interesting.
Stag's still out there. He's on the backside.
You
So-
got comms with him?
Well, here's the thing. We can't get comms with him because we just fucking unasked. And by the time we got somewhere I could talk, I'm down in a low terrain feature. My other team's also down a terrain feature, so if we can try to get a hold of them with your radio, we've got line of sight as long as they're not on the backside of that hill. So that's the only thing. So if you don't mind, we try to raise them on your radio.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, so question for you. How likely are they going to be attacking in the next hour?
I think that was their scout, their
attack.
route selection scout element.
We
I think
think-
they were doing a route reconnaissance.
We think
for
their
their
respawns are at 17:30, so we think they're
bottom of the hour.
Yep.
Okay. Well, and then what time did they hit us? So we got, let me see here. I wrote it down because I knew I'd forget after that. So at 1450, 1455 to 1450 to 1455, we witnessed that guards change. One guy walked up, relieved the other guy. It looked like it was just a one man at the time. And then the other guy walked back.
Let me ask you this, because we just got done devising an elaborate plan, operating under the assumption that there's S&S behind us.
I know. I saw their
100%.
whole section, all 12 of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, then that answers that.
all 12 of them were in there.
You know what?
Good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's Friday of the FTX. So situation's unfolding pretty rapidly. Right now, we think the enemy's going to attack within the next hour, just corresponding with the respawn times and whatnot. So we've got all of our positions are manned up, stand to 100%. We actually jumped into a fighting position with 2 other warriors, and we're staying firm because we anticipate getting hit with artillery. So with this overhead cover, it simulates overhead cover anyways, and it's supposed to protect against artillery strikes, so helps minimize our casualties we take from that. So once we figure out where the enemy's massing their attack, we've got a bump plan established. We've also got our reserves already allocated, ready to rock and roll. So should be a one hellacious firefight if it unfolds in the next hour or two.
After an enemy attack did not materialize at sundown like we had anticipated, I was briefed by the OCs that Hire was pleased at our ability to hold off the enemy up to this point. Furthermore, they wanted us to take the fight to the enemy and I was thus given a frago to conduct a full-scale attack on the Blue Force position by tomorrow morning. Additionally, I was informed that we would have artillery on station at 0745 to assist with the attack if requested. The plan for the final assault on the Blue 4 positions would be this. At 0500, OPFOR platoon would make movement guided by Light Fighter Studies Group from our area defense to an ORP on top of the nipple. From there, we would move to an attack position approximately 100 meters to the southwest of the enemy's base. There we would wait until 0745, and upon hearing the first artillery round striking the enemy positions, 1st and 2nd Squad would assault Objective 1, which was believed to be the main enemy position, and 3rd Squad would assault Objective 2, which was a second smaller encampment with vehicles that Light Fighter Studies Group had identified as some type of log supply camp. One thing to remember, though, is that in combat the enemy always gets a vote. Although the enemy did not hit us at the time we expected them to, just before 2000, the Blue 4 launched a full-blown attack on our center and eastern side. Their attack was preceded by an artillery barrage that devastated a good number of our positions in the center of our lines. Additionally, a small number of Blue 4 actually penetrated through the middle of our defense and got behind and intermixed with our lines. Our reserve squad, along with my RTO and I, pushed up to the middle and began to push through the left side trying to weed out any infiltrators. Les would stay at the CP for command and control.
Fine. Les! Les!
What's that automatic fire up there on that hill?
Les! Hey, activate the bump plan!
Fuck yeah.
Sweep! Brianhauer coming to you! Anybody in between you and Brianhauer is probably enemy.
I got ODs 25 meters. Alright, good. We got a good fucking line here.
Brianhauer, we're almost to you. Anybody else? Anybody see anybody?
We got guys out by the pond out here in the grass.
Okay. Alright, IR off, IR off.
IR off!
We also could have 1st Squad coming down the left, could be enemy, don't know. Okay, I need security out here.
First squad, this is India 5-5. What is your location? Over.
Red light in front of me, Blue 4 OC.
Okay. Hey, if you are with me, orient yourself to the left. Get online. We're going to push left. Right? Braylon, you stay here. All right?
Copy that. Enemy to the right. That's enemy. Who's up? I'm up. Right, I was up. Wire. Hey,
There!
He's up. Any friendly outside the wire? No, not any friendly out there.
All right. Get online.
I see these fucking real caps.
They're dead.
2 coming out are dead. You see some? Right there. Right in there. What's up?
I lost my fucking IR.
Lights down, dude. We'll find it in the morning, man. You got a red dot? No.
Enemies in the field. Come on, man. You know you're fucking dead anyway. That grass isn't gonna stop you.
Hey, 2 dead. Blue 4 walking out. Watch that. Smoke this guy. Yeah.
Brent, you got IR on? You got goggles?
Yeah.
Is he behind the tree? I think he's sticking his hand out. No, the tree by the pond.
There's one guy out there with some sort of flashlight.
Yeah, I think he's keeping his body behind that big tree.
Okay.
OPFOR, sound off.
After a long drawn-out fight, it began to look like Blue
here?
4's attack was losing steam, and they were beginning to fall back. Although very
This is
costly, we
diversion.
held our lines. We still had 1 to 2 Blue 4 operating behind us, which we continued to try to weed out till about 03 in the morning. It was around that time that a lone Blue 4 got into a skirmish with one of our furthest easternmost positions from behind and escaped to the south. At that point, we were pretty confident that we had gotten the last of them out from behind us. Now that we were fairly certain that we had cleared out the enemy presence to our rear, we assembled and stepped off at 05 on the dot, with the light fighter stage group leading the way to the objective rally point on top of the nipple. Once there, we got accountability and pushed to our final attack position. There, we would wait in hiding until 0745 for the first artillery to begin hitting both objectives. Remember, 08 would be our normal respawn time, so any casualties that we incurred in the initial attack would be respawned back into the fight after only 15 minutes into it. At 0745, the artillery struck on the dot.
Online, go. Let's go. Online. Move. Faster. Let's go. Faster. Right out. Right out. Push right. Right out. Push right. Push right. Minefield. Straight ahead.
Moving through the woods towards where the light fighter stage group told us that the enemy base was supposed to be, I began to see enemy wire off to my right.
Go.
And I soon realized that our heading was slightly off and the objective was off to our right. I then had to pivot the assault force to the right and reorient them. Being the closest guy to the enemy now, I then pulled out my K-bar to try to breach the fence for my boys to punch through. In a true lead from the front scenario, I was the first one shot right in the grate. But the boys didn't hesitate. They took the fight straight to the enemy.
Right. Over here. Breach fence. Breach fence. Damn it. What's that side? Slow! Smoke out! Reach around! Come on! Contact 30 meters in front! Down. Get that cut. Let's go. I got through. We're gonna breach here. Go through.
You're good. Go, go! Do you have any instance? Hey, can you put my knife back?
How does this always happen to us?
Well, our respawn time's at 8, right?
Yeah. 8 o'clock. You got 15, yeah, 10 minutes. Did I get you?
What's up, brother?
Did I get you?
Not yet.
Can I join in with them?
At 08, I was respawned along with my RTO, and I was right
All
back
right.
into the fight.
Ready?
As I moved into the objective, I found that we had
let's
taken
go.
it, but the enemy was in the middle of a counterattack.
Hey, look at these bunkers. This OD? What's that? It looks OD. Straight
Yeah,
ahead.
that's OD.
Okay.
I got OD.
What's up? What's up? D'Amico! D'Amico, orient over here.
Did. It was an even exchange.
Hey, D'Amico!
Dead.
He's dead. Take your cover off.
We're with you.
All right, one here. You start pushing through here.
Pushing.
Cover this. We just had a guy flank us over here. Prepare for counterattack! Who's the senior man over here?
First squad fire team leader.
Hey, I need you on the line.
Roger.
Where's the senior man?
Probably, I don't know. Wide door.
Where's the fire coming from? No eye. Anything over there? No, we got one guy. Can't even see it. I'm holding the seat. Okay. I have some guys spread out that way in the woodland, sir. All right. You came out from over there. Set in over here. Set in over here, oriented that way. Where? To the right? All right. I'll tighten it up.
That side of the street.
What squad are y'all in?
X-ray. Third squad here.
Third squad? Okay, did you take the other objective?
Carl.
Yes, sir.
No. Yes, sir.
Which way? Hey, do me a favor? Yes, sir. Just cover our 6. You got it, okay? Yep. We've already got a 360. How far? Need another gun over here. Talk to me. What you got, Santiago? They're going left.
Okay, I'll move my guys over.
All right. Okay.
All right, let's go, Stack.
Move it. We ransacked this place already pretty good for intel.
Okay.
Any light fighter element. This is India 5-5 actual. Hey, Roger, have you got eyes on any vehicles, enemy vehicles? Over.
Okay, roger. Be on the lookout for vehicles. We're trying to track down any remaining Blue 4 vehicles or positions. Over.
They're pushing left. They're pushing left.
Imagine a deuce and a half, something along those lines. Over.
I can't see them. They're in there.
Hey, Richard, you see any vehicles?
They're pushing. I need somebody over here.
I've got 5 guys here, red on ammo, red on.
Where? Where are there 5? Over here? Okay. Push over here. I'm going to send a fire team down this road. All right?
You want those guys to push up with me?
No, just you. Hey, gentlemen, how many you got?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Give me 3 of you. Joe, you stay? You 3. I need you to conduct.
There's a camera building directly over here.
Is it a building or is it a truck?
It's a canteen. They got a hunting line.
Okay. Look, skirt down this trail and then hook left. We're trying to locate some vehicles or some sort of ASP or resupply log area.
Okay.
Okay?
Hook left down this road?
No, hook. Go down this trail.
Yeah.
Right? And start hooking left. Looking for vehicles. You got a radio?
OPFOR.
Is it up?
OPFOR.
I think. Give me a radio check.
OPFOR. OPFOR.
Unit 37 radio check.
I got you down there.
Good.
Good?
Can you turn it up?
Yeah.
There's zipper counts in the car.
Yeah, we're on this road and start going off to the left.
Just crank it all the way up.
Try again. Try again.
Radio check.
Good? Yeah. All right. Take your 30. Push down, see if you can find those vehicles. All right?
How far do you want to stay from cover?
Just follow it down, see if it goes to the end of the road. Okay? You got Blue 4 circling around to that left side. Okay? If need be, circle around and try to engage them, okay?
Trying to go one more room.
Help him out. So he's posted up here, orient this direction. All right? Yeah. Hey, Co, you got one with you, all right? You got one with you. Right here, behind you. Get your guts up, Diego.
I hear him. I don't see him.
All right, hey. OPFOR. OPFOR on the right. You hear me?
Real quick for the video, Chris, do you mind giving a sit rep of the situation from OC perspective, if you
Sure.
can?
So, 7:45 this morning, they had an artillery attack here, dropped a bunch of aerial bursts, and then smoke. There was a delay, artillery attack down in the low ground while the assault started up on high ground, so that protected them, disrupted it, and from there, the big melee happened. So we had multiple different teams. It looked like Light Fighter Study Group, which was the recon element, started assaulting from here as a diversionary tactic, and the rest of them came up from the Blue 4. Good battle. They just bloodied the living hell out of each other. From what I can tell, it looks like I think Blue 4 took so far 21 casualties. I don't know about the Light Fighter, the recon team, and then the that's OPFOR, took 21. Blue 4 has taken, not everybody, but 2 of the elements. The recon is out 100%, so that's like 8 or 10 guys, and then their platoon is out, which is, I think it's 26. But they do have another squad out. They have an allied squad out at this time who continues to fight. So that's what's going on. OPFOR decided not to hold what they got. They decided to gamble it. They've linked up with their reconnaissance, Light Fighter Study Group, and they have now met on this objective, and they are pushing to the, they're pushing to the east along this logging trail. And that's our status as of this point. They're pushing hard, but they're pushing at 50%, a little over. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, okay. Up four, on me, over here. Let's go.
Once our boys repelled the enemy counterattack on Objective 1,
Let's go, online.
it was clear that we
Online,
hadn't
right
taken Objective 2 yet, because there was no enemy vehicles
Online,
in sight.
facing this way.
We then organized into another assault force to close in on Objective
Let's
2,
go.
which is the log camp.
Online. Who's that down there? Dispersion. Spread it out. Hey, the very far end, make sure you're watching our right flank in 6.
We just cleared that.
Okay.
Took out 2 guys.
Ready? Push forward, let's go. Positive ID.
35 meters ahead.
Flank right. Who's got a smoke? Throw it on the other side of the vehicle. No, other side of the vehicle's right in front of you. Hey, if you're on the right flank, start pushing up now. Light fighter. This is PL. Start pushing on the other side of vehicles. Hey, be advised, we are at the vehicles. Over. Let's go. Redistribute magazines if necessary. Hey, you can have this. There's only like 6 rounds. Make them count.
It's a goddamn honor. I got it. I'm good. I'm good now.
Let's go. Get online. Let's move. You dead? You're still in a fight.
Yes, sir.
Right in front of us. He's coming around the corner. Get up. He's coming around the corner. Run it. Go to the front of the truck. He's right there. Good job. Up forward, push! Push past the truck, 20 meters! Don't cross the orange wire! Hey, give me security, 360 degrees around this place.
I'm black on ammo, so I just got a hole here.
How many rounds do you have?
0.
Shortly after taking Objective 2 and not knowing when exactly the enemy respawn would take place, we were prepared for another possible enemy counterattack.
Hey, give me one of you over here. One, right here. Oriented that way. Hey, light fighters, you guys got comms with higher? Higher, we have achieved all objectives.
You need contact with the top of the hill.
Everybody repeat, and if you got a radio, repeat it. Index, 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 index!
Index, index, index. I say again, index, index, index.
Index had been called. The field training exercise came to an end with an epic, bloody, and chaotic battle in a thunderstorm. OPFOR had successfully achieved surprise and had successfully taken both objectives. With the boys in high spirits, we then made a long walk back to our area defense to clean it up. After everything was back at the FOB, a short hot wash was conducted, gear was turned in, and a final formation was held. And last but not least, there was an amazing beer and steak dinner with all the warriors from all sides to celebrate an amazing training experience.
You know, when you're sober, this doesn't seem like a good idea. But right now, it's hot. All right.
What's the worst thing that can happen here?
Get the medics up front, Blake. All the medics, report to the
Hey, let's get a medic.
Ready?
Set.
Go.
Get it.
All right, Chris, come around, come on.
He's taunting you. One more time.
Is that three? Was that three? That's three. Three now. All right, next up. Well done, well done.
There you go. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh! Kill it! Anybody ask you, you can say, yes, we wore masks.
You're gonna get COVID in your eyes. Ah, let's get out of here. No.
You ready? All right.
Gotta yell kill.
Well, that's it, guys. That was the end of the 40th anniversary semester. It was truly a remarkable and memorable experience that I won't forget. If you guys are interested in the Blue Force perspective of this FTX, you can watch our first ever FTX AAR conducted over a live stream that involved all key leadership on my YouTube channel. I'll post a link in the description box. Additionally, don't forget to check out One Shepherd's website for dates for upcoming training semesters.
Oh, hey, for all the Marines. Look, edible crayons.
They're all edible if you try. I want to give a big thanks to all the people and organizations that came together to make this all possible. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to leave a comment.